Ran, I'll start with this personal part, okay? Ran and I were both 54 years old. We were both born in 1970. Both of us studied in the Reali High School. We've been friends for 40 years, good friends. Ran is the CEO of UVision Air. He started this position a few months ago. We met at the office, and he started out by saying, "I'm going to present in UViD, and then now let's talk." So it's part of this change. We've seen how new companies and even older companies are joining our community. He's the CEO of UVision, used to be senior VP and head of senior manager of division in Rafael. Ran, please. Well, hello, everyone. Alon, I didn't think that we would start out by disclosing our age, but fine. I'm delighted to be here. You know, I'll start on a personal note. For 3 decades, I had worked in Rafael in various positions, so I met many of my friends and colleagues with whom I've had the privilege to work. And over the years, I've invested much of my career in the world of defense. I had the privilege to be involved in systems such as Iron Dome, in the development of these systems in the early stages, in the Meil Ruach system and the light shield system, and also various attack systems. And one of the things that I'm thinking about is this switch from attack to defense. In Israel, after October 7th, we understand that we constantly need to combine. Yeah, you can leave the applause to the end. And now I've assumed this position in UVision as the CEO of the group. And now in the next few minutes, I'd like to share with you where UVision is at and where it's going, both with respect to precise attack and defense. And the focus, what I'd like to say is that ultimately, you know, when I think about the word UVision, the letter U, I'm thinking about the commander who's now in the battlefield. As I look at these images, I'm thinking about my children and their friends and the fact that they're fighting in the battlefield, both in Gaza and in Lebanon. And the question is, how can we give them an ability that can help them save the lives of their friends, other soldiers, and also to identify, to understand the situation and attack the terrorist in real time, not just with up-close shooting of light arms versus light arms. And there's this brief video that shows you some of the capabilities of UVision. It started from the field of loitering munitions. And, you know, once you press the button, the loitering munition starts out. It does this interim navigation without the operator having to hold it. It goes out to the targets area. We can see all of these launches. It loiters above the targets. And once the operator decides to push the button, the loitering munition starts to do a homing process both in the day and in the night. A precision of CP shorter than 1 meter. That's the core technology. Just like Vered said, we have to look at the global scale as well. And UVision was smart enough not just to have an R&D center here in Israel, but to also build a significant infrastructure in UVision USA in 2 locations where there is a manufacturing of an American product. We've recently received an MSN number. It means it's an American product, and we can use the FMF funds in order to acquire it in Israel, and of course we also supply here in Israel. In India, we have a subsidiary called Avision that we've been delivering through it 3 projects to the different entities in India, and in Europe, along with Rheinmetall, our partner, we've been supplying to Europe as well. So you can see that we're delivering to 18 countries, of course, the State of Israel and other relevant countries, of course, the U.S., Argentina, and South America, a lot of countries in America, NATO companies, India, Australia, and more. And today, in order to do business, you have to have a local capability. So the company decided not just to establish a local manufacturing infrastructure in every country, but to truly Americanize their product. The lethality package in the U.S. is based on the Javelin warhead of the Heron 120 and American comms. And in Europe, we have adapted to the European market, in Israel to the Israeli market, etc., etc. This is how we operate worldwide. UVision has a family of products, whether it's the smaller products and up to the interim products, and all the way to bigger products for longer ranges. And of course, the size affects both the endurance, also the range, and also the warhead. For example, if we're talking about the Hero 120, which is our best seller, it's a loitering munition that can stay over 60, perhaps even 75 minutes above the target to carry a Javelin warhead. It's multi-purpose, both anti-tank and anti-personnel, and then to fly towards targets that are at a distance of 60 kilometers, to loiter there and at the right moment to go down on the target with full precision. And when I talk about, let's see if I can get these videos to operate. So when I talk about maturity, these are tests conducted in the U.S. You can see the precision, which is very important in order to prevent collateral damage, whether it's human targets or anti-tank targets or moving targets. These were done by American operators and not with our own operators. These are official tests in the U.S., and we're truly proud of the progress in the maturity and precision of our munitions. Of course, we need to be able to operate in different conditions. You can see launching from various maritime platforms. This is in Finland, in Arctic conditions and high altitude in India. It trains the munitions to withstand a broad variety of environmental conditions, and also launching from a helicopter platform, the entire vertical of helicopters, Black Hawk, Apache, Airbus, Augusta, Westland. All of the helicopters want to be in a standoff position, that they're far from the missile-stricken area, to launch the munitions, to let them run for 60 or 70 kilometers, to do a smooth handover to the ground operator that can drive it to the target, not just from the helicopter, but from the ground operator towards the target. And here we presented in EUSA at the beginning of the year a new perception of a multi-launch autonomous platform. And now this is a transition from using one munition to the operation of various munitions simultaneously to different zones, Zone A, Zone B. We get intelligence, targets are achieved from an intelligence gathering system, a connection to existing systems or collecting systems such as reconnaissance UAV, or systems like the ones presented by Veren. As far as the architecture, we are open to receive targets from different types of systems and to actually send the right munitions, every munition with an IP address of its target. And you can see a broad variety variety, and it's through simulators in order to bring the right munitions to the right target on time. And the emphasis here is that the operator is not just one munitions driver, but the man or woman is in the loop, not just with a joystick. The munitions go out, do interim navigation, even without GPS. They loiter, and then they each drop on the target at its own time. It's a very advanced capability, and this is where the modern battlefield is heading. For that, you need to do mission planning. So if we're talking about collaboration, we've collaborated with Omnisys, who have a lot of experience in planning missions for aerial defense systems. And just like I said, there's a very strong correlation between defense capabilities and offense capabilities. The better you understand the defense capabilities of your enemy, thus you can better plan your assault capabilities and vice versa. This is a software that combines the Hero family loitering munitions capabilities along with an understanding of the types of targets, whether these are air defense targets or main battle tanks. And the software recommends to the operators which munitions to use, whether it's the U for 100 for 150K range with 2 hours endurance, whether it's the Hero 120 for a 60-kilometer range, is it the Hero 30, perhaps another system. And thanks to the loitering capability, you can reach the target from different direction. And the entire mission planning software actually recommends to the operator or to the munitions what's the best trajectory in order to allow for penetration. You can see the green track here that allows reaching the target, and it takes into account all the different elements of the ground coverage, and this allows the munitions to reach the target efficiently while taking maximal information of the type of targets. You can see 3D and how the munitions are entering on the right altitude, on the right track in order to reach its target. And by the way, the world is developing towards autonomous behavior. So is the market in the U.S. The UAVs need to know how to collaborate between themselves in order to allow the mission to succeed with varying payloads. Sometimes it's EW payloads. And I think that the video speaks for itself regarding the type of offensive waves you can operate. And there are different ranges with the right warhead. And of course, the main thing is to be combat proven, to bring actual combat capability. Without going into details, you can see for yourselves our system, the Hero 120, doing operational combat work. It receives a target. It loiters above the target. By the way, the soldier is not busy. We have simplified the interface for the operators so that the soldiers won't have to be occupied. And you can see the yellow bar going down. There is an option to abort if you see some uninvolved civilians, and you can abort even at the very last few seconds and to go around and continue onwards. But if I'm going to look ahead, if I'm thinking about the future, and I speak a lot with battalion commanders and company commanders of combat units, and, you know, in tomorrow's world or today's world, the soldiers need rotary wing capabilities for short range, but also fixed wing for offensive capabilities, assault capabilities from the unit that's behind. You know, the battalion commander needs to have its own air force close to him. And this is a perception that combines both fixed wing vehicles of different ranges, different warheads with the same family, but also drones for short ranges. And we've seen the effect both in Ukraine and in the IDF, and ultimately systems that are collecting, that are holding on, and they explore in order to give you the pixel that you're attacking, and ultimately control in the combat area, combat zone, and outside of it. And the key here is that actually you need to make the life of the commander and the soldier Israel. Our focus is on the soldiers and commanders, and to simplify for them, it means that on his remote control, he can both operate the drone but also receive the loitering munitions or commission it with a smooth handover. And for that end, in UVision, in the UVision group, we're not just looking on fixed-wing loitering munition, but also drones in our subsidiary Stereo UV that works with us and progresses well, and it presents a capsule of drones that are on main battle tanks or any other platform, and it provides reconnaissance over the hill capabilities for the next few kilometers, and efficient launch, and also assault capabilities, and recently even defense capabilities. Let me show you a video. There we go. It's the Viper 300 launching from an operator, starting out for intel above the hill, over the hill, and ultimately autonomous homing on the target, whether it's anti-personnel or anti-tank, and also an ability brought by Spear UAV. It's a defense capability, not just attack, also defense. Ultimately, it's a combined capability that allows for both defense and attack. I think you need to invest a lot in the operators, whether they are actually skilled operators or just combat soldiers. I'd like to invite Dror Ziv, who's a commander in a paratroopers unit, and he will give you 30 seconds from the perspective of the commander in the field. Hello, everyone. I hope that 30 seconds are enough for me. So my name is Dror Ziv. I'm a customer support manager in UVision since October 7th. I have two jobs, commander and combatant in paratroopers commando unit, and in my work there, I actually started working with them when I was still in a regular office. I was part of the 1st Infantry Force that operated this system in the IDF. Then I finished, and then I started working in the company, and that gave me an opportunity to work with a broad varieties of units worldwide, from the most special ones to infantry battalions and the Navy. And it gave me a very interesting perspective on how the IDF fights today. So I have a lot of stories and insights to share, but I was only given 30 seconds, so I decided to share with you something that I felt very strongly during combat, whether it's Gaza or Lebanon, a maneuvering battalion, whether it's infantry or armored corps, doesn't matter, needs to have its own independent organic fire operating capacity, a significant capacity within the maneuvering battalion. 2 weeks ago, I'll share with you, we were in Lebanon. We encountered terrorists. We didn't have any available assistance, so we had to fight old school face-to-face with the terrorists. Thank God it ended well. But I had a very strong feeling that we all felt at the end of this event how much we could have used the help of drones. One last thing. 7 or 8 years ago, I entered this company as an infantry combat soldier that only knew how to attack, and I didn't know what loitering munitions were. I said, how will I operate it? It seems so complicated. I have my own weapons. What do I have to do with aerial vehicles? But I can promise you it's a highly intuitive system. In a matter of a week or two, every soldier from every unit at every level can operate this system in a very good way, very useful way. That's my message. Thank you very much. ultimately, we are all working for them, for the young generation who are actually engaged in combat, both in Gaza and in Lebanon. So we need to give them the capabilities that will enable them to win in the battlefield. One last concluding comment. UVision is growing. We're moving to a new location in Emek Hefer in order to meet all the requirements, both with respect to manufacturing and R&D and marketing and business development. And ultimately, the key is that people, just like anywhere else, it's the people who make the difference. And we have the privilege to work for the State of Israel and for the special forces and for a defense expert.